Welcome to this new lecture. Again, we will continue today with Nyquist plot. So, what we saw in our previous lecture was how to analyze stability in frequency domain. We answered several questions based on Nyquist plot. The first question was the Nyquist would tell me is how my zero are and how many poles of the characteristic equation lies on right half plane. So that would be determined by number of encirclement of point minus 1 plus j0, and we also see how we shift from origin to minus 1 plus j0 and how minus 1 plus j0 analyze this point will just help us pointing the closed loop behavior by just looking at open loop transfer function, right? So what we will do today is see or just handle some special case, right? So what we said when we were defining conformal map from S plane to the QS plane is that this map should not pass through any single point or any pole, but that is it is mostly impossible, but sometime you could see that there might be poles on imaginary axis, and let for simplicity say I just start with a pole at origin. Okay, so the question we will ask is how do we handle these conformal maps on Nyquist contour when the open loop poles are on j omega axis. So if you use Nyquist criteria directly, the S plane contour would pass through a singular point 1 plus GH. This would just blow up. So this could be similar in a way to see, when we were doing Raoult's Harvard's table. So when you get 0 in any of the column or when the entire row is 0, so what you do, you just substitute with a very small number epsilon, and you assume it to be greater than 0 and take a limit of epsilon goes to 0, then do the rest of the computation. So we will do very similar here. It is little tricky here than that we did last time. Let us see how we will do it. So we need to make some modification so as to bypass these point in j omega axis. Suppose if I am having some pole at origin. Okay, so what we will do, if there is pole and I just take this detour here, this detour I will just say, well, I just take a little semicircle. So this is how semicircle, like epsilon approaching to 0, epsilon e j theta, and it will take a limit of epsilon approaching to 0. So if I just write down a little more formally, so what we would have is take a semicircle intended around say the pole at the origin, because I am considering pole at origin. So if I say this guy take a pole at origin and I just draw a little semicircle s equals to limit epsilon approaching to 0, where theta will move from minus 90 to plus 90, and then we will just do the other things, then put this back here, okay, in this curve, and see how the plot goes like. Okay, so to get a little understanding, we will start with an example, right? We have a feedback system, I have a pole at the origin and another pole. So the sinusoidal transfer, we will just substitute s equals to j omega, and we know already why we do this, right? So why we just substitute s with j omega for sinusoidal transfer function. Okay, so let us start by dealing with pole at origin. Okay, right? The standard thing that I have learned in our earlier classes will not work because there is singularity when I substitute s equals to 0. So I take a little thing limit. So this guy s limit sigma approaches to epsilon approaches to 0, this guy is the value of s. Okay, so I take a little limit. So now we will see how this s defined by this little semicircle, since given by epsilon e j theta. Okay, and theta is moving from minus 90 to plus 90. Okay, so where this little region will map in QS. Okay, so uh, I take, okay, this guy will be k by epsilon, where epsilon is approaching to 0. Okay, for S only we are taking. What does theta do? Theta varies from positive to negative. Okay, minus 92 plus 90, and minus theta varies from, this theta will become minus, so it is varying from positive 90 to negative 90, right? So I just first want to see how this little region, if you will see in my S plane, this little region here, I will draw this little better way. So how it will be mapped from S plane into the QS plane, where we are having JV, U, here I am having sigma and J omega. So how we defined this last time, right? So what happened? How does this guy map here? So what I have is epsilon is equals to approaching to 0. The magnitude goes to infinity, and the angle goes from positive 90 to minus 90, because earlier theta was varying from minus 90 to plus 90. Now it's negative, so it is varying from positive to negative. So if I plot, I will just have a arc like this, right? Something like this, of radius infinity. Its radius is infinite, and it will travel, this radius is infinite, and it will travel from positive 90 to minus 90. Okay, so this is just to do with the pole at the origin, and the rest of Nyquist plot follow the same procedure as we have done before. Okay, so limit epsilon approaches to 0, k e epsilon e j theta t epsilon e j theta plus 1, so it will becomes infinite. Okay, so if you remember the polar plot of this guy, it was, I will just clear all other things. So for that it was something like this. Okay, so the polar plot for 1 by j omega t plus 1 was something like this, where asymptote here was t. This is my omega equals to 0. I start from omega equals to 0. This is omega equals to infinity. Okay, so I start from somewhere here, I go here all the way till here, and again I will go from positive to, similarly I will draw for negative. Okay, so MATLAB, if you draw same thing through MATLAB will give me this light blue color diagram for this transfer function, right? So this is how the plot look like. What more MATLAB will tell you, right? When you draw these plots, and this we derived last time, so how do I really look at this, right? So start at omega equals to 0, then it will omega positive, right? So when omega equals to plus positive theta, when omega equals to negative theta, then negative 0. Okay, so I will just be right here. Okay, now what happened at omega equals to 0, right? So at omega equals to 0, I will go to, I have to really compute this. So the thing will be region of infinite radius. This will given by the pole, this the short semicircle. Okay, so this will represent that one in QS plane. Okay, so now the question is, the system is stable or not? Well, what was stability? It just look at the encirclement of minus 1 plus j0, and that is somewhere here, right? This is it's somewhere here, and this is the point of interest. Now what was the number of encirclement? N equals to p minus z. P is equals to 0, z is equals to 0, therefore number of encirclement is 0. Since the number of encirclement is 0, so we can say the system is stable. Okay, now what if there are two of these poles of origin? So just do again the same kind of analysis. So I am just dealing with this term, right? So I have limit of epsilon approaching to 0. I replace s with epsilon e j theta. Okay, so I just look at this. So magnitude is, numerator is k, denominator epsilon 2. So again magnitude will approach to infinity. Since in s plane theta was varying from minus 90 to 90, in j theta it will be varying from, it is negative again. Okay, so it's varying from positive 180 degree to minus 180 degree. This is what the polar plot would look like. Okay, so what MATLAB will give you is this kind of blue line, this interior blue line. Okay, so I just go here, it will get terminated at omega equals to minus infinity plus infinity, then it will start from omega equals to minus infinity, then moves till omega equals to 0. So what happened later on is, again just look at the infinite radius from angle minus 80 degree to positive 80 degree, right? So the plot is completed in this way: minus infinity, minus 0. Okay, then it will go like this, and then positive 0, then positive infinity. So there are some kind of encirclement. It is little tricky, but it is, you can just understand it how to complete these lines. Okay, so what about stability, right? So this is how the Nyquist plot look like. So you can be in infer stability of closed loop system. So again we look at the number of encirclement, right? So what I am interested in, again the point 1 plus j0 somewhere here. Okay, so if you see there that the closed loop encirclement of 1 minus 1 plus j0, this is our point of interest. So if I look at where actual encirclement is 2 times, so the total number of encirclement is 2. How many open loop poles are there in right half plane? 0. If the system were to be stable, what we need is n to be 0. Now n is not equals to 0, but it is equals to 2. Therefore closed loop system is unstable. So we could also look at it, if look at its root locus, right? So if I just plot a quick root locus of this, you have two poles here. Okay, one pole somewhere here on this side. As k is greater than 0, one root locus would look like this, and this we are plotting. So you just say some non-zero value of k, my poles always will be there, and these are the two unstable poles, which is also captured by Nyquist plot. Therefore the closed loop system here is unstable. Okay, so this is all about special case of Nyquist. We will not really go into plotting complex plots. That's not the aim of the course, of give a something of S4 or S6 and so on. this is not important, right? So we just try to understand what this guy try to tell us. So there is something called as relative stability, right? So most of the time I will say, well, I am interested in stability, the system is just about to stable. So the next question is I will ask is how stable it is. If it is stable, will it remain there for a long time, or will a certain change in parameter push it to the verge of instability? Certain change in gain will push it to verge of instability. So I want a reasonably good measure of how my system is. Okay, so that's all for today's lecture. Thank you.